Look at Matt pretending to be cold. Live from a not yet robbed 7-Eleven in Columbus, Ohio. It's your daily dose of life-saving biz nuggets. Joined as always by excruciating Emma Lurking and monomorphic Matt Mascardi.
What does that mean?
One having one shape. I'm the other half dozen. Before we get rolling, a special shout out to Descartes Delac. Who is Descartes Delac? While she's no Mary Dillon, foreshadowing, she happens to be the new mayor of South Portland, Maine, and the first Somali American mayor in the country. Quite a woo train we're riding here in New England. To put it into perspective, Emma, when I was a kid, the mayor of South Portland, I'm not joking, was Sam DePietro. You know Sam DePietro? The dude who ran our neighborhood pizza spot, DePietro's. No joke, the mayor used to serve me slices. It was a beautiful thing.
That's kind
Today,
of amazing.
in our Dan Cannoli stained bag of nuggets called December 8th, 2021, Starbucks hates unions.
We knew
Matt
that.
solves Starbucks labor problem.
I do.
Wow, we took care of that pretty fast. And Emma talks about shale.
Done.
Jail.
All right, here we go. Starbucks bid to halt union vote count is rejected by Labor Board. The National Labor Relations Board rejected Starbucks' bid to quash the counting of unionization ballots from 3 of its upstate New York restaurants, paving the way for a Thursday vote count. That's tomorrow. That could create the first labor foothold among the coffee chain's thousands of corporate-run U.S. locations. And if you like that flavor, 3 additional Starbucks locations in upstate New York have announced their intent to vote on unionization.
Go
and
upstate
Workers
New
United said it has signed up a majority of employees at a Starbucks store in Mesa, Arizona.
Wow, of all places.
See what happens when you call your caffeinated workers partners? They start to believe you after a while. We already reported on Starbucks anti-union tactics, trying to delay the union vote, holding captive audience meetings when management forces staffers to listen to anti-union propaganda, sending workers, RE partners, letters asking them to vote no on the union, sending senior managers to Buffalo area stores to sweep floors, and a cringy presentation by former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz, who compared the workers' situation with a Nazi concentration camp blanket. Not a joke. But let's look at Starbucks' greatest anti-union hammer. It's its board. Special shout out here to In These Times writer Derek Seidman for his article, The Union Busters on Starbucks Board of Directors. According to Seidman's reporting, at least 8 of 11 Starbucks directors, including CEO Kevin Johnson, have represented companies with records of resisting unions or worked with groups and companies that have faced serious allegations of workers' rights violations. Companies like Microsoft, Apple, FedEx, Domino's, and Nike. Notably, here's 2 of the directors. Isabel G. Mahi runs Apple's operations in China, where the company has faced numerous allegations of worker mistreatment throughout its supply chain, such as relying on forced labor of Uyghur workers and labor violations at its Foxconn supplier. Also, Microsoft's Satya Nadella and FedEx's Joshua Cooper Ramo represent companies that have director seats with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, which plays a central role in coordinating the business community's opposition to pro-labor legislation. Up next, I'll focus on one very special holiday-themed peppermint latte union hater, the great Mary Dillon.
Oh, I feel like you could throw a stone and hit a company that either busts unions or hates its employees. Damien, you can spend all the time you want railing against Starbucks and all the other companies for union busting, but we here at Free Float Media, we solve problems. We don't just complain about them. And I think I have a solution for the labor problem here at Starbucks, and honestly, for everyone. Here's some quick hit headlines. Number 1, Viagra use may reduce the risk of getting Alzheimer's by nearly 70%, study suggests. First of all, nearly 70%. Nearly. No, almost 70%. In 2020, around 200,000 people under the age of 65, young enough to keep working before they are supposed to retire, were diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. The average cost of generic Viagra was $40 per pill. That's $15,000 a year for boners and Alzheimer cures for 200,000 people. After announcing in October they'd pay $17 an hour, Starbucks could hire everyone with early onset Alzheimer's and pay for the cost of Viagra at only $50,000 per year per employee. It's a steal, Starbucks, with the added benefit of uncomfortable conversations with coworkers. Number 2 solution.
Weird solution.
Kellogg to permanently replace striking employees as negotiations fail. That's the headline. Kellogg's announced after another union rejection of their proposed contract that it would be forced, quote unquote, to replace the 1,400 workers who are striking. Forced. The Starbucks baristas voting to unionize in Buffalo number 80 baristas. That's Starbucks. Kellogg's is giving you a pool of workers 17 times larger than you need. And after they're all unemployed, I'm sure they'll hate the idea of a union. Jump on it with the added benefit that they might add Fruit Loops to your caramel macchiato. And number 3.
Another weird solution.
That sounds delicious is really what it does. Ubisoft becomes the first major video game developer to launch in-game NFTs. Stay with me here. This is a real solution. Ubisoft is adding NFTs to Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which if you're 12, I think you know what that is. The NFTs will be unique, purchasable cosmetic items in the game. You sell it to players. They can only get one, which is super cool. Also, if you're 12 and have no money, here's the solution for Starbucks. Stop selling coffee, sell coffee NFTs.
Now you're
imagine this imagine if you can. You could own your own cup of coffee on the blockchain that is uniquely yours. No more will you have to explain your stupid yuppie order to a whiny unionizing barista. No. You can get your one pump classic non-fat 6-scoop matcha at 195 degrees with no foam, add whipped cream, built in the cloud by some guy named Rick who works out at his friend Doug's basement. Drink your crypto and fuck unions. Am I right, Rick? Am I right? With the added benefit of having no idea what you just bought. Those are my solutions for Starbucks union problems.
Most importantly, Matt, I talk about someone named Rick coming up, so I'm kind of excited.
Is it the same Rick?
Let's get back to Starbucks union-hating board. It's Mary Dillon time. All right, let's talk about Mary Dillon. Mary Dillon is chair of Starbucks Pay Committee and a member of its nomination committee. Mary is the former CEO and current executive chair of Ulta Beauty, the largest beauty retailer in the United States. She previously held top management or board roles at Target, U.S. Cellular, McDonald's, and Pepsi. Mary is a Chicago business mafia power player. She chairs the Economic Club of Chicago, an elite business forum led by major corporations, and serves as a director of the Executives Club of Chicago, a business group composed of CEOs and other top Chicagoland executives. Small world alert! Starbucks chair Melody Hobson also sits on the board of the Economic Club of Chicago.
Buddies!
Mary also chairs the Anti-Union Retail Industry Leaders Association, RILA, whose membership list includes infamous anti-union retailers, including Walmart, Dollar General, Home Depot, Target, Starbucks. RILA spends millions lobbying against the union and worker rights. Its current target is the Protecting the Right to Organize Act, which would be the most ambitious pro-union legislation in decades. RILA directly supplies retailers with resources they need to suppress worker organizing, including an annual report with IRI Consultants, a leading anti-union firm. RILA also bankrolls anti-union front groups and consultants and is a major donor to the Anti-Union National Retail Federation. You can see where I'm going here? RILA is also the largest donor to the Job Creators Network. That doesn't sound right. An anti-union organization co-founded by Home Depot's Bernie Marcus, which bankrolls notorious anti-union consultant Rick Berman's Center for Union Facts. You may remember Rick from his nicknames Dr. Evil, I'm not joking here, and the conservatives' weapon of mass destruction. And finally, for the record, Mary Dillon's Starbucks coffee choice. Anyone remember this? It's the Grande Skinny Vanilla Latte. Enough said. Drop it, baby. Come on. Drop. Come on. Drop.
I mean, grande skinny vanilla latte was my Starbucks drink of choice at one period in my life, so
Union
respect.
hater.
I think you hate unions.
Yes, as is obvious
All
about
right, bring
me.
us down, Emma. We're too excited.
Today, I have an article from Forbes. Shale oil wins back investors despite policymakers' focus on climate change. Did that bring it down
Shale.
enough? Is that good?
Shale.
Down.
All right. Well, while I'm fully aware that Business Pants is the podcast of choice for oil tycoons, it strikes me that some of our listeners might not know what shale oil is. Shale oil is extracted from shale rock formations by way of RuPaul's favorite pastime, fracking. All you need to know is that shale oil equals fracking, and fracking equals every bad thing you can possibly think of. The author of this article, investment in the S&P Oil and Gas Exploration and Production ETF is up 75% from where it was last year. But how could this be? Well, shale oil companies have switched their financial strategy from exploiting natural resources as aggressively as possible to shareholder ass-kissing by way of sweet, sweet buybacks. These companies are giving investors a stellar deal. They can hold on to their shares if oil is doing well, or they can get rid of them through buybacks and cash out. But what the article doesn't mention is that fuel prices are incredibly high right now, more than $1 per gallon up from where they were last year. The article also didn't say that amongst all this profit in the shale oil industry, Biden has asked the FTC to investigate whether oil and gas companies were illegally colluding to keep gasoline prices high. Little weird.
Make them higher.
And then the last line of the article reads as follows. And it would happen despite the anti-oil policies being advanced by the Biden administration, which perhaps could finally make them cease targeting the hand that feeds them. If you're anything like me, you might be wondering at this point, wait, who the fuck wrote this?
Ooh.
This article was written by a fine fellow named Dan Eberhardt, who happens to be the CEO of Canary, one of the largest privately held oil field service companies in the U.S. And I have to admit, Forbes, you had me for a second. First of all, are you really hurting for contributors so bad that you went with Oily Dan over there? Secondly, maybe when you're publishing an opinion piece, you should make sure that the word opinion appears somewhere in the headline. Putting contributor next to Oily Dan's byline in the smallest, lightest font you can possibly find doesn't really cut it. But that's just me.
Can we put the contributor by Emma's title?
No,
No
here's
way.
what you can do, though. You can go to our YouTube channel, April 2020. We labeled Dan Eberhardt the blowhard of the week from April 2020.
Yes.
He's been a free float contributor already.
Emma, you're
Congratulations,
you've
Dan.
officially been brainwashed by Free Float Media.
You
Congratulations.
welcome to the fold, Emma. That is Emma Lurking.
Thank
I
you.
am Matt Muscardi. That is Damian Rollis. We are Free Float Media. Check us out for more content tomorrow. Go to our YouTube. Go check us on LinkedIn. Go subscribe to the
Blah, blah, blah.
podcast and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, nobody cares. Nobody does anything anyway. Have you given this to a friend? Damien, have you told one of your friends about it? Much less asking the listener to do it. No one does it. No one cares. Your wife doesn't even listen. That's all we got. We'll be back tomorrow.